Hello and welcome back to the Greenhorn Photo Taker. Today we complete a story of a 3-day road trip to the Taconic Mountains of Massachusetts. A story where poor planning caused frustration, but also kindled imagination. The final day is upon us as we explore Bish Falls State Park and the Rondout Lighthouse. It is the morning of day 3. We are on Falls Trail in Bish Falls State Park. It is not a great day for waterfall photography, but it's a great day not to be working. So we're headed down to this seemingly wonderful waterfall. I do have all my gear with me. It is in a ravine, so maybe I'll get there early enough that there just won't be sunlight on any of the water, and that would help for sure with long exposures. This is the last day of this mini, I'll call it a road trip, even though I only stayed in one hotel for 2 nights. And it's sad that it's over. It is funny how, I don't know whether it's my mood or whether it's the scenery, but last year I took a 5-day trip across Pennsylvania, and it was a tough trip. I mean, I'm glad I went, but it was really boring at times. This year, for this trip, I've had none of those vibes. I've been engaged with the parks, with nature, with photography, more so than last year. Look at these trees. So that makes a difference, I think. And now, whether it was COVID, whether it was the terrain, a lot of the state parks I hit last year I didn't love. So this will be I can already tell this is not what I was expecting. I can see this really large viewing platform with bright orange cones, signs everywhere, stay on trail. So this is more of a tourist destination, I think, than a landscape photography destination. But we'll make the most of it. They are absolutely roaring from this vantage point. Hopefully I can do some justice to it with the camera. This is a quick trail. It seems less than a mile. I don't know if it continues on past this falls. We'll try. But first stop is, I guess, the main falls. I'm sure I'll describe it better with a voiceover. At about 200 feet, Bish Falls is the tallest waterfall in the state, though upon viewing it, you could be forgiven for thinking it was smaller. There are several cascades that make up the full length of the fall, and the water isn't entirely viewable throughout each. The most spectacular is the iconic final cascade, a 59-foot drop that splits the flow into 2 before splashing into the pool below. This area used to be wide open for exploration and swimming and even rock climbing, but with 25 deaths in the past 100 years, and more importantly, exponential use during the pandemic with up to 1,500 visitors at a time, the access to the falls area was completely restricted. I knew some of this, but not all, and read on the Hike the Hudson Valley website in a comment that access was no longer restricted as of November 2021. But when I arrived, signs were posted everywhere that access was restricted beyond the top viewing platform. So quick check-in. I mean, this place, the falls are absolutely wonderful. I left a message for the state park to see if I'm allowed down there. No one's gotten back to me. I don't know how long I can just sit up here at the top. But I'm taking as much video as I can I don't think there's any opportunity for a photo that would really entice me, but I'll try. Really frustrating though. This was kind of the heart of my my morning, was to be here at Bish Bash. And I'm starting to, I know I'm convincing it of myself, but I'm starting to think I am allowed down there, because the cones clearly have a gap in them for the steps. And I've seen this before at other state parks where the signage just doesn't get updated in time, right? So here's what I know. Last May, they closed access down to the falls, and then online at the Hike the Hudson Valley page, someone updated, great news everyone, as of November, we can now get down to the falls again. The barricade above the steps has been removed. So the barricade's removed, but the signs are still up. And I've seen that before. I've seen that at Delaware Water Gap, where the signs don't really come down in a timely fashion, but you're allowed in the area. So I did at least call them to find out. We'll see. We'll see if I get up enough nerve to potentially break a rule here. Hopefully I will just get a call in a few minutes saying, yeah, by all means, go down. Steep climb, headed back up. I'm out of breath. In the end, I did spend maybe 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes down at the base. I think it was okay. I'm sure I'm gonna find out that I could have spent as much time down there as I wanted to. But no one called me back. At the opposite end of the parking lot, there is a small, somewhat obscure signpost that simply says Overlook. I had entirely dismissed this at first, but because of my poor planning, Bash Bish Falls was somewhat of a disappointment, and I decided to see where the sign led. Without knowing the length of the trail or what I was in for, I started climbing a small rock scramble. Soon, I could quickly see, however, the area was again fenced off and the trail would end after just a few hundred feet. Hopefully, there would be something scenic when it did. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That is amazing. Huh. Look at that. And yeah, it's a freaking scenic view. So what I see is the valley formed by the river that we just saw the falls on. the falls are down the mountain to my left, but then that valley opens up into an open area with, my freaking god, the Catskills, again, snow-capped right behind it. Wow, this is my favorite view of the entire trip. Unbelievable. All good things must come to an end, and I left Bash Bish Falls State Park around 10 a.m. and headed for the last stop of the trip, Rondout Lighthouse. During the journey, I fell in love with the band Spoon, so here is one of their latest songs, Wild, to take us out.
I was reminded every measure, riding trade winds, buried treasure. I got on fine with modern living, but must I be such a citizen? And the world still so wild, called to me. I was lost, I've been kept on my knees. Trippers and Lascars, they surrounded me. All them describing how they like me. All them wanting something special. Bring them roses, sing them blues. And the world still so wild, called to me. I've been caught, I was lost on my knees. I looked full over all the lies and appealing to me, advertising, and I was living tight every night. And the world still so wild, called to me. I was lost, I've been kept on my knees. And the world still so wild, called to me.
Although not nearly as picturesque as other locations on the trip, Rondout Lighthouse was a serene location that I did enjoy. Just off Route 9W in Kingston, New York, it offered a wide-open, expansive view of the Hudson at one of its widest points at nearly 1.3 miles. The lighthouse itself is just off the Kingston Point Rail Trail. It was also an ideal ending point for the trip. First, as you can see, I once again made a mistake with the setting, leaving the GoPro on the time warp mode. So Rondout Light, thank you for reminding me I will always be a greenhorn photo taker. Second, I had absolutely no pressure on myself to get a great shot. A bright sunny day at mid-afternoon is just about the worst time for photography. So the only point of me stopping was to enjoy the moment, and that is just what I did. Had I been thinking more about photography and less about how great life can be, I am sure a long exposure black and white photo would have done the trick here. But I didn't think of it. In terms of photography, I think the day was a success. At Bash Bish Falls, I relied solely on the Pixel, and really, like I said, I only had 4 or 5 minutes there. So very quickly, I snapped a few photos of the falls from different angles, 2 of which were long exposure, and both of those I think are really, really lovely. The Pixel really came through at Bash Bish. At the overlook, this first one is snapped with the Sony from far away using a wide-angle lens. Yeah, this one doesn't do much for me. We're going to move on. But once I took out the zoom lens, I did capture this. It's not really a landscape shot, but it does capture the snow-capped slide mountain better than anything else. So this one I will savor. The next one, though, is probably the best shot here. It again has, just like yesterday at Allendale Mountain, highlighted pine trees on a hill with the snow-capped peak in the background. And I think what makes this one work is the 3 tiers in the foreground, midground, and background. Those Catskills, they followed me all the way through. And then finally, at Rondout Lighthouse, I did capture 2 black and whites. This first one is okay. I think there's a little bit of mystery with the jetty to the right and where that goes, but overall the composition is just okay. I do like this one a little bit better, and I wish I had some long exposure water, but I don't think it would have made this a tremendous photo. There's just too much open sky with nothing going on. But overall, it was a positive photography day. I did like generally what came out of the camera. So there you have it. The trip is over. It is very sad to see it go. I thoroughly enjoyed putting these videos together, and in a way, or more than a way, it definitely reinvigorated my love for photography, which I think has been missing for some time. So hopefully this continues forward into the summer. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and get out and explore.